What's going on, guys? It's Jeff. Back here over on some more zombies. And a couple hours ago, I ended up unlocking Opal. So now, the long part is pretty much over. Now I'm to, like, the really easy stuff, especially Afterlife here. The quality doesn't look that great because I have all of the options turned down, but this camo honestly looks pretty cool when you don't have it on extremely low. Luckily, that's not the case for all of the other camos in the game, so, I mean, everything else looks really, really good, even on super low. It's just this one. So now I'm in the middle of doing the Afterlife camos. I already have 10 of them unlocked. Hold on, let me try to find a weapon that I already did it with. Let's go like XM4. Yeah, boom, right here, see? And yeah, so a couple hours ago I did Opal and I already have 10 Afterlife camo. Just to put that into perspective, it's very, very easy to get. Got the save file right here. We're gonna do the same exact thing I was talking about doing with the guided mode. And I'm just chilling here. Again, this video will be pretty, you know, chill or whatever, but I got double XP going, getting a peek into my mindless, brain-numbing grind. But it's nice and relaxing at this point, so I'm cool. And we're almost to Nebula. It looks really good. Oh, speaking of looking good, the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight. Round cap 11, we might end up getting a parasite round here. Oh, no, okay. Never mind. There's immediately a mangler already. I'm gonna clear these guys and just get one of them alive. So I already have these two shotguns done. I've already picked up every single weapon off of the walls, I'm pretty sure. I did the DM10, the ASG over there, the AK over there, XMG over there, pistol on the corner over there, the DM10 over there, and the shotgun in the bowling alley. I don't think that there's any other one. Oh yeah, and I did the sniper rifle as well right there. We'll keep this one guy alive and we'll go to the box. Whatever it gives me, we'll just go and do that one. But anyway, the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. I didn't talk about it very much leading up to it, but honestly, I know some people feel some type of way about it, but I think Mike Tyson is literally the most dangerous 58-year-old I have ever seen in my life. Like, so many people were disappointed in Mike, like talking about, oh man, he looks so old. I was saying, I hate this fight. I think this is a dumb fight. I think it's dangerous. I think it's dumb. I picked Jake Paul to win, and he did win, but I genuinely expected Mike Tyson to look absolutely horrible. Now, there are people saying that he did look absolutely horrible. I have been watching fighting since I was like 10 years old. Like real fighting combat sports shit. I have seen 40-year-old MMA fighters look way worse than Mike did. Mike had basically one leg. He had like a knee brace on and everything. It was sad to watch, but I'll be honest, I thought he would look way, way, way worse. I was like, dude, we are in the darkest timeline. I thought that Jake would knock him out. You would see Mike Tyson's old corpse on the ground. I thought it was gonna be bad, but it really wasn't. Mike even managed to win 2 of the rounds. It was 8 rounds total. He lost, you know, the other 6. His body just really couldn't do what his mind wanted to do. Even though his legs looked worse in this fight, I have gone back and watched a lot of Mike Tyson fights, obviously the more recent ones, especially the fight with Roy Jones Jr. back in like 2020 or 2021. And as I watched that fight, I was like, oh yeah, there's no way. Mike looks terrible in this fight with Roy. He's gonna look even worse now that more time has even passed. Dude, he looked more dangerous in this fight against Jake than he did against Roy Jones Jr. Now, I get it, the Roy Jones fight, like people were calling it an exhibition, but there are people even now talking about like no knockout clause, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, if Jake got hit clean with some shit, or even if Mike himself got hit with some clean shit, these guys were gonna get knocked out. They were absolutely trying to knock each other out as best as they could. You know, between the limited skill set of Jake Paul and Mike's age, they were absolutely trying to knock each other out. I don't think that there was anything scripted or Jake was like sparing him and trying not to knock him out. I genuinely think that he respected Mike a lot. Could he have gotten him out of there? Absolutely, I think he could have. But again, he was just respecting it. He got hit a couple good, clean times throughout the fight. Was like, dude, I'm not fucking with it. I'm not gonna play with that. Why would I keep playing with it? Like, dude, I genuinely think Mike looked really, really good. Like, for all, this guy at 58 years old could straight up still murder any stupid drunk dumbass that walks up to him in a bar, no matter how old they are. Mike would kill any regular ass 27-year-old that just gets into like random little bar fights with people. I was ready to be depressed about the whole thing. I really was. And even though he lost, I expected him to lose. It would have been above and beyond if he had actually won the fight. But just winning 2 rounds in itself, not getting finished, and still demanding respect at nearly 60 years old is insane. This is easily the most dangerous 58-year-old on the planet. Because I've seen 40-year-old MMA fighters look worse than that. I watched so many legends, people that I love, I have a bias towards, I watched them get bad overnight. Age is such a huge factor, especially in combat sports. So UFC 309, John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. Without going into too much of a tangent about the way that John Jones has gone about this whole thing, I think that John Jones is gonna win, but man, would I be happy if Stipe won. I think that John Jones should fight Tom Aspinall. I don't think he's gonna fight Tom Aspinall. Nope, by the way, Stipe Miocic is obviously the oldest he's ever been. He also hasn't fought in 3 years, and the last time that he did fight, Francis Ngannou made a fucking highlight out of him. There's a meme that goes around in the MMA community where Dana White is constantly glazing Jon Jones. He needs to as a promoter, it makes sense. They don't want to mention Francis at all. I would love to see Francis Ngannou versus Tom Aspinall, but Francis will never do business with the UFC ever again. Anyway, there's a meme that goes around where they say Jon Jones in a room with anybody on the planet, Jon Jones is gonna walk back out of that room. Basically saying that in a street fight, in a one-on-one, no weapons or anything like that, Jon Jones would beat the shit out of anybody on the planet, regardless of weight class. A part of me, for some reason, a part of me doesn't believe that if he were to go into a room with Tom Aspinall and Francis Ngannou. Oh, there we go. We already got Afterlife for this one. And now we go back to the box and we go and grab another one that we haven't done. I do have a list over here, but I won't be able to tab out during the video, so I'll just have to... I'll know if I did it or not, generally, for now. The Tanto, definitely haven't done that. We'll go and slam all of our resources into this one. Anyway, if you haven't noticed, I think that Jon Jones is going to beat Stipe. Now, do I think it'll be really easy? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe Stipe will surprise us. I think maybe it's just, you know, my hopium. Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. On the feet, I think it'll look a little... odd. We don't really know how heavyweight Jon Jones looks on the feet overall. The last time we saw him at heavyweight, it didn't, you know, the fight wasn't very long. And the couple times he was striking, it did look a little awkward. But, you know, you could only see so much. Don't want to read too much into it. We haven't seen a lot. Meanwhile, we don't really know what Stipe looks like at this age. Now, given... the age is less of a factor at heavyweight because of, like, knockout power and everything. People's defense is generally worse. Usually, there's not as much technique. And anyone that does have, you know, higher technique or better technique than other people, they're usually going to be ahead of the pack, paired with that power, which is why people like Tom Aspinall are, you know, successful right now. I think Jon Jones will be able to just kind of take Stipe down, control him, maybe even throw some 12-6 elbows, which are legal now. Might not be as easy as we're thinking that it'll be. Maybe Stipe will make it interesting and actually be able to stuff the takedowns. If he does stuff the takedowns, Jon could be in trouble. It's a big question mark because we don't really know what Jones's striking looks like at heavyweight. How varied is it? How, you know, is he really one-dimensional in the wrestling now? Like, what's the deal? Did he develop any knockout power whatsoever moving up? Because historically, Jon Jones is not a power puncher, and the few finishes that he has, they're all mostly submissions, and then the one knockout that he has over Daniel Cormier, which he also popped for steroids in that fight. So they want Jon Jones to win this. They want to be able to have, you know, the GOAT of their sport, this mystical fighter. Everything will look really, really good down on paper, but anyone that's there to witness it will be able to, you know, correct that every single time that somebody assumes. We're not gonna let them just sweep the whole positive tests, you know, under the rug. Oh yeah, I just realized I didn't even explain it. I'm doing the guided mode strategy here. If you don't know, you could just look at my last video. And the challenge that I need to be doing here is simply need to get 10 kills without getting hit. Usually I go and get hit once just to make sure that it resets, because I don't know if it stacks on top of itself. I usually get, you know, I do the whole clear, then I get hit once, then I do the whole clear, then I get hit once, just to make sure that it's actually counting. It could be a waste, but getting hit one time with 3 plates at level 11, I'm not in any danger anyway. It really doesn't need a whole explanation. I'm gonna run in circles like 5 or 6 times in place right here. Wait for all of the zombies to stop climbing up so there's no stragglers, so I don't have to worry about anyone potentially coming up behind me. All right, now everybody's up here. Now I wanna get hit once. There we go, make sure that it's reset. And we just kill everybody right here. This is easily 10 zombies. I think this is like over 30 zombies. I just got hit there, but I already got the nimble for it. Annoying thing though is that there is no actual medal for the thing that we're trying to do. It's like in between. I'm not playing a guessing game with whether or not I'm getting a medal or not. I'd rather just overcompensate here to be safe and just go 1 round at a time. I don't think I can split the zombies up to do it. We got Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler. This fight is a run back where Michael Chandler ended up hurting Charles Oliveira early in the fight. Like, you know, Michael Chandler seems to do with most people. Round 1 Michael Chandler is very, very dangerous, but he also is kind of a glass cannon himself. So this fight is pretty much glass cannon versus glass cannon. Both of these guys will regularly get hurt, get dropped, but they can hurt people very, very badly. Double XP is doing work too. Yeah, I just decided to say fuck it and prestige because I realized I can just get, I'm not going to be locked out of any of my weapons. And then looking down the list, I have so many unlocked tokens and there's also bundles available that there's no way I'm going to get locked out of anything. The battle pass gives bundles, the store has bundles, we got the perma unlocks. I can pretty much have every single weapon in the game perma unlocked. So prestiging is nothing. Given I can only prestige a couple more times at this point, it's almost over. I black holed a ton of XP in that last prestige. I could probably be 10th prestige by now, to be honest, but it is what it is. That Charles Oliveira and Chandler fight is kind of, it's really a toss-up. I think more people are leaning Charles, and I'm gonna lean Charles too since he won the first fight. I think Charles has more history of recovering after being hurt at the very least. Whereas Chandler, when he gets hurt, he doesn't recover nearly as well. And then the other fight on there is Bo Nickel versus Paul Craig. Paul Craig is a pretty good grappler, especially at this weight class. But I think Bo Nickel is kind of the whole package. Now, I don't know how good his striking is overall, but I think that it's definitely better than Paul Craig's. Paul, I don't know if I've ever watched him outstrike somebody ever. The grappling exchanges could be interesting, but I could totally see Bo Nickel even just submitting him as well. So, there we go. Afterlife, there it is. I'll go and leave one of these guys alive, and we go and grab another one. Yeah, so I got Bo Nickel against Paul Craig. I think he'll win probably by submission or maybe even knockout. LW3, all right. Got Charles Oliveira over Michael Chandler. To be honest, that one's straight up a coin toss with a slight lean to Charles, just, you know, from the first fight. I see a finish for sure, but who knows? Maybe they'll both be a little bit more careful this time. And then I got John Jones over Stipe, but I am rooting for Stipe. It would be really cool to see Stipe just pull off something insane. What a timeline that shit would be. That would be like a terrible loss for John Jones too. To lose to a guy that's like over 40 years old after 3 years off, coming off of a horrible knockout of his entire career at the hands of Francis Ngannou, a guy that he happened to not sign a fight with for those 3 years and just not fight at all. Yeah, that would be a terrible stain on him. For sure. There's a reason he's very careful about, you know, who he's selecting to fight. So yeah, this is all I'm doing though. Nebula will be ready in no time. It'll likely be the next video. And then I gotta look into the Warzone grind. Maybe by that point they can look into solving the weird tracking issues that people are having. Seems like the progress is very slow. And even on paper, like it's gonna take a little bit of time to do. Like just as the nature of Warzone is, it's not the fastest paced thing. It's a massive map. But the tracking issues on top of that, yeah, that makes it exponentially more difficult. It's not really the easiest to count how many of them I managed to collat with one bullet. So counting them is kind of out of the question with the sniper rifle. I just kind of shoot into the crowd of them and go from there. Less work. I could individually count them one by one, but again, I don't want brain activity.